Rocking and rolling. So today we are going to talk about volume of prisms and cylinders. And so we're going to review what volume is. We're going to talk about some different shapes that we've talked about last week, some different 3D shapes. We're going to talk about calculating volume of different 3D prisms. So before we get started, who can tell me what a prism is? What does a prism look like, or what are its qualities? What do you know about prisms?
They have the same shape at the top and the bottom.
Good, same shape at the top and at the bottom. If you cut a prism vertically, what shape will you always get? So here's all my prisms. If I cut these vertically, what shape am I always getting? What shape is vertical?
Up and down.
Up and down. A rectangle. Good. So in a prism, if I go up and down, I'm always going to get a rectangle. So before we get started on our 3D shapes, we're going to do a quick review of our 2D shapes. So we know some different area formulas. Area, right, is all the space on the inside. Who remembers what the area formula is of a parallelogram, a square, or a rectangle? What's that equation? Base times height. Perfect. That's it. Base times height. Fantastic. What about a triangle? It's something really close. One half base times height. Exactly. You can write it like that, 1/2 base times height, or if you want, an easier way is you just take the base times height and then divide it by 2. That'll give you the same answer. I like BH divided by 2 personally. I think it's easier, but if you want to put the 1/2, that's also okay. All right, last one, circle. What's that one? I'll give you a hint, it starts with pi.
Oh, pi r.
Pi r squared. Very good. And what does that r stand for? Radius. Very nice. Where the r is the radius. Fantastic. So those were our 2D shapes, the flat ones. Today we're going to talk about volume of 3D shapes. Now, who can tell me, what does the word volume mean? I asked you to explain volume. How would you explain it to someone? No ideas? You haven't heard volume before in like science class? Yeah, you've heard it before. Don't be giving me these faces.
Like big.
How big something is? Okay. What do you mean?
I was just thinking volume.
Volume of your hair, yeah, is like, okay, so if your hair gets bigger and bigger, right, you've got more volume in your hair. Good. Okay, volume is just how much space something takes up. So if you can think about volume, thanks, dear. Think about volume as if I have this shape right here. Volume is how much water can I put inside of this shape. That's volume. How much water does this hold? Or how much, like, if I wanted to put sand in this, how much sand would this hold, right? So it's the space on the inside. How much does it hold on the interior? That's volume. So to find the volume of a rectangular prism or a cube, right? So if it looks like this, my volume formula is really easy. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take the length of the bottom times the width of the bottom times the height at the top. So length times width times height. Same works with a rectangular prism. Length times width times height. Okay, that's all I have to do. It's really simple. And that's going to tell me how much space can I hold on the interior. So let's take a look at that first example there. What type of shape is this first example? Is this a rectangular prism or is this a cube?
Rectangular.
How do you know?
Because there's a rectangle at the top and the bottom.
It's got a rectangle at the top and the bottom. So the first thing I want you to do is either if you have a highlighter, you use a highlighter, or if you want to just color it in, I would like you to get into the habit of coloring in the base. So I'm going to take my base shape here, and I'm going to color it in, highlight it. A rectangular prism. All right, so I'm going to find the volume by taking the length times the width times the height. Or in other words, I'm finding the base shape, the area of the base, times the height. So looking at this picture, it looks like this one. What is my length of my box here?
9.
The 9. What is my width of the box? 17. And what's the height of my box? 24. So in your calculator, all you're going to do is multiply 9 times 17 times 24. You should get a large number. What did you get?
3,672.
Beautiful. There's your volume. You just figured out volume. So your volume equals 3,672. And now I need to label it centimeters, but remember when we did area, we labeled it as centimeters what? Squared. Hold on. So centimeters squared was a 2D figure. A 3D figure is centimeters cubed to the third power, right? Because it's volume. There's 3. Essentially, we multiplied centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. That gives me centimeters cubed. There's 3 of them. So as a quick little note, maybe you put this at the bottom because I know yours is a little smaller than mine. So there's a little space at the bottom there. Quick little note. If I give you just a regular measurement, like the length or the width or the height, so if I give you a measure, it's always going to be just in a unit, right? So like this was just 17 centimeters. That's a measurement. That's in a unit. If you're going to do area, which is a 2D figure, then it's units squared. And if you're going to do volume, which is 3D, it's units cubed. So if I just said the length is 17 centimeters, the area would be centimeters squared, the volume is centimeters cubed. That's really important. Because if you don't have the right label, it'll be marked wrong. All right, once you finish writing down that little note, I would like you to try number 2. Give number 2 a try, and we'll see if we get the same answer. So try number 2, highlight your base, and then I want you to do the volume of it. Another 30 seconds. Okay, somebody tell me, what'd you get?
630.
630 inches cubed. Anyone get anything different? Okay, so what was your length of your prism? What number did you put for your length? Anybody? It was the first number you multiplied. Trey? 14. What'd you put for your width? 10. And what'd you put for your height? 4.5. Now, if you put, you said, Trey, you said 10 first, right? You said 14 first. Okay. If you did 14 times 10 times 4.5, you would get 630. Did anybody put the 10 first? Yeah. What did you get, Bobo? 630. It does not matter which way you go, right? Because multiplication is the same forward as it is backwards. So if you put yours in a different order, it doesn't really matter because you're still going to get the same answer in the end. Okay? So 10, 14, and 4.5. What I like is that Katya even said the inches cubed when she said her final answer. So make sure you're putting the label, because if you don't have the label, it's going to be marked as wrong. All right, easy peasy, right? Prisms, easy stuff. Next type of prism. So for a rectangle or for a cube, my formula is length times width times height. For all other prisms, so that means a prism with a triangle as the base, a prism with a hexagon as the base. Every other type of prism has this formula here. Volume equals big B times H. Now, notice, when we did other problems, we haven't had a capital letter B yet. We've only had a lowercase b. This capital letter B stands for the area of the base. So we're going to find first the area of the bottom piece, right? So in a triangular prism, we're going to find the area of the triangle, and then we're going to multiply it times the height of the whole prism. So we're going to find the area of the bottom first, and then we're going to multiply it times the height of the prism. So in number 3, which type of prism is number 3? What's the shape of your base in number 3?
Triangle.
A triangle. So this is a triangular prism. All right, so you're going to start by highlighting your base or coloring it in. Does it matter which triangle I pick? Top or bottom? Doesn't matter? No, why not? Because, right, and they're the same on the top as it is at the bottom. So it doesn't really matter which one you highlight as long as you're highlighting the triangle. Okay. So my volume formula is area of the base, big B, times the height of the whole prism. Now, we have to start, don't write too big, we have to start by finding the volume of the triangle. So I'm going to ignore everything else, and I'm just going to look at this yellow triangle. Okay. How do I find the area of a triangle? What's the area of a triangle? Look back at the 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2. So I'm going to take the base and the height of just this yellow triangle and then divide it by 2. So ignore everything else, just look at that. Base times height divided by 2. Or like Katya said, you could do 1/2 base times height. Now, if you're looking at just this triangle here, what is the base of the triangle?
feet.
9 feet. Do we agree? What? Why never mind? can't go by my inflection. Well, how about this? What's the height of the triangle? That one should be easy. Try 7.3. So if you look for the 90-degree angle, always, the two numbers that are attached to the 90-degree angle are going to be your base and your height. So I agree. 7.3 is definitely the height of that triangle, which means turn your paper this way. There's the height. Now, if you're looking at it that way, which way is the base? Is this number the one that goes along with the 90-degree?
No.
No. This piece right here goes along with the 90-degree. But I don't have a number there. What number is that? Where does it match? 10's over here. What number's over here? So this is the bottom triangle. If I go to the top triangle, they should be the same. So in the top triangle, it's 12 right here. That means right over here is also 12 feet. It doesn't, I don't need it, but what number would be right here? 10, because it's the same as the top. So this number down here is 12 feet. And that's what I need. So to find your base and your height, always look for the 90-degree angles. Give you base and height. Okay, so we're finding the area of that triangle. So we're going to take the base times the height, and then we're going to divide it by 2. So my base is 12. My height is 7.3. We're going to multiply those two and then divide by 2. So 12 times 7.3, and then we'll divide that by 2. So if I multiply 12 times 7.3, I get 87.6. And then I'm going to divide that by 2. So my area of the triangle just at the bottom is 43.8. And that is just the area of the yellow triangle and nothing else. That is just this. Okay, now that's great. We've got the area of my base triangle here. And now to find the whole volume of this 3D shape, I'm going to take this area of the base and I'm going to multiply it times the height of my whole prism. So if you look at your whole prism, what's the height of your prism? Or in other words, what's the number that connects the two triangles together? So everybody look up here at me first. Here's your triangle on top, triangle at the bottom. Here's the height. It's the vertical number. Look back at your picture now. Which one's the vertical number? Five. You're right, right here. So it's the number that connects the top triangle to the bottom triangle. So my height is 5 feet. So my last step is I'm going to take this area of the triangle right here, and I'm going to multiply it times the height of my whole prism, which is 5. And that'll give me my final answer. So area of the base triangle times the height of the whole prism. So multiply them and tell me what you get. Okay, what number did you get? 219. And what do you label it as? Feet cubed. Very nice. Feet cubed. Whew. Okay. That was a toughie. Okay, what questions can I answer? None? Not a single question? All right, are you ready to try number 4 then? Okay, number 4. What type of prism is this? What kind of prism is it? A rectangular, a cube, a triangular, hexagon, what is it? Not a trick question. Which two are exactly the same? It's a what? What shape is the same on the top as it is at the bottom? Two shapes that are parallel. It's a triangle. Yeah, this is a triangular prism. It looks like the cheese wedge, right? But instead of it being an up and down cheese wedge, I now just tilted it to the side. It's still a cheese wedge. Hasn't changed. I just pushed it to the side. So this is a triangular prism. So you're going to start by highlighting your base. What shape is your base? You just said it. It's a triangle, so highlight your triangle. Okay, so we're going to find the volume of the prism by taking area of the base times the height. So we're going to find the area of the triangle. Again, it's the same idea. We're going to find the area of the triangle. So we're going to find that bottom piece. And then we're going to multiply it times the height of the entire prism. So area of a triangle is, just like before, area of the triangle is base times height divided by 2. Base times height divided by 2. All right, so looking at that yellow triangle, what is the base of the yellow triangle? 11. Good. What's the height of the triangle? 5.4. Good. The two numbers that go along with the 90 degrees. So you're going to take 11 times 5.4, and we'll divide that by 2. $11 times 5.4, and then we'll divide it by 2. So if I multiply 11 times 5.4, what do I get? 59.4. And then I divide that by 2. 29.7. So the area of the triangle is 29.7. And again, that's just the triangle at the bottom and nothing else. What do I still have to do? That's my big B. That's my area of the triangle. What do I still need to do with that number? Multiply it times the height of the prism. Good. Now, what number is the height of the prism? So it's got to be one of the numbers we haven't used yet. It's either 10, 6, or 16. 6, Anyone else agree or disagree? We all agree? Are we all not sure? Not sure? Okay, so everybody look up here, look at me. Here's your prism, right? You can all see me. Here's prism. Now, in the last problem, top and bottom, right, were here, and your height was the one that connected the two triangles together. In this picture, I'm taking this and I'm just turning it on its side. The height is still the one that connects the two triangles. What number connects the two triangles? So it was up and down first. Now it's on its side, so it's the number that is horizontal. Which number is horizontal? The 16 is now horizontal. So your height is 16. So my final step is I'm going to take 29.7 and multiply it times 16. And that will be my final volume. So what do you get for your final volume? Multiply the two and tell me what you get. 475.2 what? Millimeters cubed. Very nice. All right, so area of the base, which was a triangle, times the height of the whole thing, the whole prism was 16. All right, what questions can I answer now? I still can't answer any questions. All right, we're going to skip number 5 for the moment. We're going to jump to the back. Okay, last type of prism is a cylinder. What do you know about a cylinder? What do you know about it? What does it have on the top and the bottom? A circle. Okay, so you got a circle at the top, circle at the bottom, looks like a can. The formula for a cylinder is still the same. It's area of the base times the height. Now, think about a cylinder. Where's my cylinder? Area of the base, which is a circle, times the height. What's the area of a circle? Look back on the front of your paper. What's the area of a circle? Pi r squared. And then you multiply it times the height. That's the area of the base times the height. Look at that. That's the exact equation here. Area of the base is pi r squared. So this is your big B. Times the height, right, is the height of the cylinder. Easy peasy. So all you have to do is find the radius and the height, and then you're going to plug it into your calculators. So let's take a look at number 6. Find the volume of the cylinder below. So my volume formula is pi r squared h. And what does r stand for again? R stands for?
Radius.
Radius. Good. So in this picture here, I'm going to multiply pi times r squared times h. So all I have to do is plug in the numbers that are given to me in the picture. Remember, pi is just a number. I'm going to plug in my radius and my height. Yes. Yeah. What is the radius of my picture? $18. Yeah. What is the height of my picture? 15. Good. So I've got radius squared times 15 is my height. All this is now is like a plug and chug into your calculator. You don't have to do anything. Your calculator's going to do all the work for you. Now, before you put it in your calculator, here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to push the pi button till the very end. So I want you to do 18 squared and 15 first. So in your calculator, I want you to put 18 squared first. Do you remember how to put 18 squared into your calculator? X squared button right here at the top. You get 324. Okay, so this is pi times 324 times 15. So now in your calculator, what I want you to do is just multiply 324 and 15. What do you get? 4,860. Now, I am not sure how the exam is going to show you the answer because I'm not allowed to look at the exam. This right here, pi times 4,860, this is the exact answer. So there's no rounding in this one. If they ever ask you for exact, you might see it like this. The last step is if it doesn't give you it with the pi symbol, then you actually have to push times pi in your calculator. Okay, I don't know how they're going to show it to you on the exam. They might show it to you this way. They might show it to you as a real number. So if you're going to put this into your calculator, you're going to put 4,860 times pi. And if you're using these calculators, pi is this button down here that says EXP. So put it in your calculator. Let's see if we get the same answer. Okay, what number did you get? Is it a big number? Very much so. Does it look like this number? Yeah. Okay, good. It's a very big number. Volume usually gives you big numbers. So my volume is 15,268.14 what? Inches cubed. Okay, do you think you can try number 7? Yeah, I think you can try number 7. Give it a go. Notice that Mr. Masso always writes the equation every single time. Try number 7. We'll see if you get the same answer. When you're done, put your pencil down so I know you're done. What we really should have done was do this for our last one. Another minute. Okay, what number did you get? Big or small? Big. What kind of number? What'd you get? Anyone, what did you get? Say it louder. What? Oh, you didn't push the equal button. That's pi. 3.14 is pi. Yeah, so if you ever get 3.14, that's the number pi. That means you didn't push the equal sign. You should never get 3.14. I'm hoping you got this. Does that look like what you got? Okay, what was the trick in this problem?
You would think that the height would be 11.
You might think that the height is 11 because it's the cylinder that's been pushed on its side. That's one thing you might think. What else is different? Yeah, Bobo? The 11 is the diameter, so it's the whole thing across. The radius is half of the 11. So half of 11 gives you 5.5. So your r squared is 5.5, and then your height is this number over here. It's the 21. So I tried to trick you like two different ways, by giving you the diameter and by pushing that cylinder on its side. So your bases are always top and bottom. If the picture gets pushed to the side and it confuses you, it's a piece of paper. Turn your paper. Turn it so you can see it the other way. I would just turn my paper so that the circles were at the top and the bottom. Nothing wrong with that. You're allowed to do that. It's paper. So I'll give you another moment there to fix yours. And again, I also put that that's the exact answer, but if you rounded it, it should be something close to 1995. Another minute. All right, what questions can I answer? Still no questions, huh? So I don't know that it's necessarily like hard, but it's definitely, you have to be careful with which numbers you're plugging in. That's just the hardest part of it, is making sure you've got everything marked correctly and you're using the right formula for each one. Okay, are we ready for the next one? An application problem. Are you ready for this moment? So these are more the types of problems that you realistically are going to see on your finals. Let's take a look at number 8. It says a cylinder with a 2 centimeter diameter is drilled through the triangular prism shown on the left. Find the volume of the prism. So what I'm saying is this. Everybody look up here. Here is your triangular prism. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a drill and I'm going to drill through this and take a cylinder out of it. Right? So I've got the volume of my prism. I've got my cylinder, but I'm going to take my cylinder out of the prism. What does that mean I'm going to have to do with my volumes? If I'm taking the cylinder out of the prism, what am I going to have to do? What do you think? From what? Good. I'm going to find the whole volume of this prism. I'm going to find the volume of the cylinder, and then I'm going to subtract the cylinder out of the prism. So I have to find the volume of this. I have to find the volume of this, and then I have to subtract them. So I have to find two different volumes, one of a prism, one of a cylinder. Okay, so it's a little bit of work. So we're going to do prism first, cylinder second, then we'll subtract third. So do not write too big because you've got a lot of different volume formulas to complete. So let's start with the volume of our prism. And to kind of help me figure out which one's which, I always put down which one I'm taking the volume of right next to it so that I don't get them mixed up. Okay, how do you find the volume of a prism? Triangular prism. Go back to the front. What do you have to do? Volume equals what? Area of the base times the height. Area of the base times the height. Good. Now, what shape is the base of this triangular prism? What shape am I going to highlight? What kind of prism is it? Work with me, people. It's a triangle. So you're going to highlight the triangle. Okay, now it's hard to see, but the 90 degrees is right here. That's the 90 degrees. So we're going to find the area of this triangle first. To find the area of the triangle, you take the base times the height divided by 2. So looking at this triangle, what's the base of the triangle? So look for your 90 degrees. What's the base? 5. Beautiful. Here's the base right here. That's the base. What's the height of that triangle there? Again, look at the 90 degrees. What's the only other number it touches? What other number? Does this touch that? What's the only number this touches? It's the other 5. There's 2 5s. Base and the height right there. Whew. So here's the base of the triangle. Here's the height of the triangle. So I'm going to take 5 times 5, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. So half of 25 is 12.5. And then I still have to take that and multiply it times the height of the whole prism. What's the height of the whole prism? The 14. Whew. All right, we will finish that up tomorrow.